The Hartley Show is an entertainment program and does not own any of the copyrighted material featured in this episode. All copyrighted material featured will be used as fair use for purposes of criticism, comment, news reporting, and/or research. Taki. 2016 Almanac. You were such a weird little twat. Hey there! I'm about to do a 2016 year in review. Won't you join me? So 2016 has come and gone, and boy, what a strange motherfucking year. I mean, in the world of politics, I don't need to go on about that, do I? I mean, the orange fucking menace. In the world of celebrity deaths, my God, it was horribly tragic, from Gary Shandling all the way to Carrie Fisher. It was heartbreaking. But it's easy to lose sight of all the fun things that happened in 2016. So how about that? I'm going to talk about the things that were really cool for a couple of seconds. We had the abundance of awesome Netflix show, Luke freaking Cage. Now a lot of people complain that Luke Cage didn't have cool action sequences at the beginning. I fucking loved Luke Cage. It felt to me like exactly the blaxploitation thing I wanted it to be. And frankly, it made me feel like there was a little bit of a window to black culture I'd never seen before. Of course, over in the world of CW, we had the first ever 4-day, 4-part superhero crossover. It was amazing. It's the thing I'd always wanted to see ever since I was a little baby in my diapers. And sure, I'm exaggerating because I didn't wear diapers. And then, of course, the biggest story of the year, as far as I'm concerned, as far as nerdery is concerned, DC Mother-Lovin' Rebirth, man. They decided to finally take that thing, that new 52 thing that was driving everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people, kind of cuckoo, because, you know, it had removed what people had thought of as the DC Universe characters, and they kind of gave it back its original life. Now there's this resurgence of DC, and, you know, they've been taking over the sales charts. It's been just great to see. Of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that 2016 was also the year we discovered that Marvel fudges with the sales chart by overshipping books. This sneaky little greasy trick that Marvel's pulling off by giving retailers books they don't ask for. So hey, look, it looks like Marvel retook over market share when they didn't. Those greasy little weasels. And on that same note of greasy little weasels over in Marvel, they decided to change their digital code thingamahoo-ha. So now when you buy your book, you know, you used to have the whole every $3.99 book you buy, the single, you get a free digital copy. Well, now you're going to get a free copy of whatever the hell they want to give you, but it's not going to be that book you bought. Well done, Marvel. That's what we all didn't want and wanted, right? Yeah. But Marvel did kick the crap out of DC as far as the rest of entertainment's concerned, other than, you know, network television. Because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter, we lost Agent Carter. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been on the bubble since day one. The CW shows did kick the crap, ratings-wise and success-wise, out of the Marvel network shows. But obviously, Netflix kicked the crap out of, as far as, you know, critical acclaim, I think even ratings, the CW stuff. But Captain America Civil War and Doctor Strange undoubtedly beat the shit out of Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad. I can't think of one person that would disagree with me that Marvel didn't outshine DC this year. Now, having said that, I did quite enjoy Batman vs. Superman, and Suicide Squad was exactly the Expendables kind of schlock I was expecting it to be. But, come on, Captain America Civil War had the best superhero fights I've ever seen in my life, and Doctor Strange was a blast, man. What was your favorite thing from 2016?
Deadpool, hands down. Loved it. From the beginning to the end, Deadpool.
So, of course, we also had Deadpool and the last X-Men Apocalypse movie. X-Men Apocalypse may have actually sunk the franchise. We'll see how things go once Old Man Logan or Wolverine. Logan is called, right? Once Logan comes out. It does seem, by all accounts, that that's a movie with a lot of promise. But X-Men Apocalypse, I enjoyed it to a certain degree, but it does fall apart in the end of the film. Deadpool, on the other hand, holy crap, did that change everything, didn't it? I mean, that's what led to that horrible release of the extended cut of Suicide Squad, an extended cut that somehow made the movie worse. One of the first times I've ever seen a movie house just so desperate to compete with something, they added scenes that were removed because they were awful. Don't watch the extended cut, whatever you do. I'm just telling you. Now, of course, also one of the things that came about this year in lieu with Marvel licensed stuff was, of course, that new Spider-Man guy. Spider-Man? Just pass the new cheapo on the left-hand side, Spider-Man. As we saw in Captain America Civil War, we've got a great new Spider-Man. The guy is fantastic. And this is the first working together of Marvel Studios and another movie house, Sony. Finally, Marvel and Sony are working together to include the Spider-Man franchise with the rest of the Marvel Universe. I think most of us are really looking forward to that thing. I was a little, on the edge, a little trepidatious about the Vulture being used because it felt to me like we were going to see another Green Goblin, let's put a guy in a stupid mask and sort of miss the point of the character. But from what I've seen of the design, it actually looks pretty cool. Fingers crossed. And how weird is it that this Michael Keaton guy now is just permanently associated with things that fly, from Batman to Birdman to Vulture. There's something kind of weird going on with this Keaton guy. I just need to address how cool the Doctor Who Christmas special was. Now, if you're a fan of Doctor Who, you could probably, agree with me on this one, that it was probably the cheesiest thing we've seen as far as Doctor Who Christmas specials are concerned, or at least in the top 5. But for us superhero fans, oh my God, they finally found a way to merge superheroes and Doctor Who.
What was my favorite thing about 2016, besides Trump getting elected? I would say joining Marvel Unlimited.
So back to comics, it was a really neat year 2016. As I had already mentioned, DC Rebirth really took the whole industry by storm. But let's be fair here, DC Rebirth did happen not throughout the entire year. It was a little bit later on in the year 2016. One of the weirdest things about this year, 2016 that is, was that whole Marvel thing. They came out with this Civil War 2. It was an 8-issue miniseries that took maybe a little over a year to come out, if not the entire year. It was a classic Marvel move. I believe that 2016 started off with them wrapping up their Secret Wars storyline that also took them forever to finish. And it started this strange dynamic where Marvel has this huge event that leads into the next phase, but they end up moving on with the next phase before they've wrapped up the huge event, because the huge event, for whatever reason, gets delayed time and time again. So the exact same things happen now with Civil War 2. Civil War 2, spoiler alert, ends with Tony Stark being removed from the Marvel Universe. I won't give you a total spoiler as to how that happens, whether he's dead or just screwed up somehow. But the resolution for Civil War we saw before the end of Civil War 2. Civil War 2. It was this whole weird thing. Now, the storyline itself was a lot of fun. I actually, in many ways, preferred it to the original Civil War. I thought it was a little bit more concise and a little better told. You didn't need to read all the crossover series to understand Civil War 2. It didn't seem like that much of a civil war in comparison to the original concept of Civil War, or even the movie itself. It was a little sort of skirmish over this guy, Ulysses, and whether or not they should use his ability to see the future and go after people who are hypothetically going to commit crimes because this guy who can see the future says so. The concept was that if you could stop someone from doing something horrible in the future, would you or would you not? It was a neat little philosophical debate, but it didn't really have that level of the entire world of superheroes fighting viciously and murdering one another that the original Civil War did. Like I say, it was great, but it just didn't have the same impact overall, and I'm droning on and on about this. So I'm going to move on to DC Rebirth. Now, as I'd mentioned, DC Rebirth, the entire concept behind that was, of course, Wally West returns to the DC Universe, and with his return, he tells people that there's been 10 years removed from the DC Universe. This history has been altered by some eminent force that seems to be maybe Dr. Manhattan. Every clue seems to be leading there, and spoiler alert, the latest issue of Titans, at the very, very end of the whole thing, they managed to extract one word from the evil abracadabra's mind, Manhattan. And the kind of joy behind that is that they think it just means they need to go to Manhattan. Us, of course, the readers get that it's Dr. Manhattan they're referencing, but they're just going to go to Manhattan and do the classic Titans go to Manhattan and build the Titans Tower. That should be fun. I'm looking forward to that. Speaking of Titans, holy crap, is that the book I wanted to read my entire damn life. When I was a kid, my favorite thing about the Titans was the way they grew up. They went over to, and when I say as a kid, I'm talking pre-New Teen Titans, George Perez, Marv Wolfman. I love the whole Titans West thing, that was a great description, wasn't it? They had Lilith, they had Mal, they had Bumblebee, they had Changeling, they had, what was his name, Narc? Narc, you know, the caveman dude. And they brought all those guys back in this great series called Titans Hunt, along with Hawk and Dove. And then that merged into the new Titans thing when Wally came back, rather than just give us a sort of that classic Wolfman Perez group. They went back to the original core of the Teen Titans, and I've been wanting that ever since I was, I don't know, 9 years old or something. I'm loving what they're doing at DC right now because they haven't abolished the entire New 52. They've just been merging it with the pre-existing continuity slowly but surely. They got this 2-year plan, and they're kicking the crap out of Marvel right now. And it's not just because the stories are better. I think it's also because they've got this better sort of overall model. There's a simplistic quality of a lot of the books ship twice a month, as opposed to maybe they ship twice a month that Marvel does, maybe they don't. And they're all $2.99 instead of $3.99. They've also got better paper stock. They've got the different cover stock and interior stock, as opposed to this weird shift the comic industry did this last year where just about everything out there now has the same paper stock on the cover and the interior. I find that so weird. And maybe it's just because I'm old. I don't know, but it messes with my head, damn it. Now, I don't want to say that everything at Marvel stinks right now, but they seem to be missing something. They're missing some sort of mark. A lot of complaints about Marvel is they're trying really hard right now to make everything very PC and multicultural. You've got, instead of Iron Man being Tony Stark now, you've got Iron Man as a young black girl by the name of Ironheart, as well as Doc Doom has taken over the Iron Man moniker. So you've got two Iron Men that both sort of, you know, neither Tony Stark. One's an older white guy still, I guess. Of course, Thor is no longer Thor. He goes by the name Odin's son. He's now the unworthy Thor, if anything. And Thor is Jane Foster, a female. You've got Captain America, two versions of him right now. Sam Wilson and Steve Rogers. Of course, Steve Rogers, spoiler alert, is evil now. And Sam Rogers, well, he is black. He's the Falcon. So they're going out of their way to create more cultural diversity, but at the same time, like with the Hulk, not being Bruce Banner anymore, but being this kid, this Asian kid, they've gone out of their way to sort of also alienate their old fans at the same time as they're bringing in new fans. Will this pay off in the long run? We'll see. It might be a great thing to do as far as setting the road forward for the Marvel Cinematic stuff, because eventually you're going to have to get rid of Robert Downey Jr. So the question is, what is Marvel going to do? Are they going to recast the Iron Man role, or are they going to bring in Riri Johnson? I don't know. So over in the world of Superman, 2016 brought us the death of the New 52 Superman. But of course, with that came the old pre-52 Superman coming back. He'd been around for a while in a Superman series called Superman, Lois and Clark, which brought up the concept that they've had a kid. They've been hiding out in the DC universe for about 5 years, the classic length of time the New 52 has existed. And in so doing, the mystery has been bandied about what's the deal with the current Superman. Now, this character, Mr. Oz, that a lot of people think might be revealed to be Mr. or Ozymandias from Watchmen, he made a statement: "You are not what you think you are." And there's an upcoming storyline that'll be out soon here in 2017 that seems to maybe indicate, that they're going back to the old Superman Blue, Superman Red storyline where he was turned into the lightning version of Superman and split into a red lightning or energy and a blue energy version of Superman, that maybe somehow that storyline never got fully resolved. How they merged back into one being was horrible back in the day, and that was to facilitate the actual marriage to Lois and Clark. So maybe what they're saying here is that the Superman that died was Superman Blue, and the Superman that lived was Superman Red. I'm really looking forward to the resolution of that, and if that's the case, I think that's cool as hell, because the original resolution, like I said, to their merging was awful! What was your favorite thing from 2016?
Probably the return to the Wizarding World in J.K. Rowling's Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
So over in the world of indie comics, one of my favorite things this year was Angel Catbird by Johnny Christmas and Margaret Atwood. Go figure, one of Canada's most beloved authors, it turns out, has been a comic fan her entire life and has had this concept for a character called Angel Catbird that she's wanted to do for a long time. This book is utterly fantastic. It's produced by Dark Horse. It's produced in hardcover format, not in a floppy single. I think the plan is to put out about roughly 2 to 3 volumes a year. It's truly fantastic. Do yourself a favor and get it. It's also important to note that one of the main sort of concepts of the book is to raise awareness about bird populations and how it's much safer for people to keep their cats indoors. And not only that, it's safer for the bird population, people to keep their domesticated cats indoors. So keep your cats indoors, people. So, of course, I really do need to mention how difficult the year it was as far as celebrity deaths are concerned. I mean, in the case of Darwin Cook, it was absolutely heartbreaking. It made me feel weirdly negligent as a comic book fan. I went out of my way to buy as much Darwin Cook stuff as I possibly could. And then, of course, the death of an old drinking friend of mine from San Diego Comic-Con, the immeasurably talented Steve Dillon, who was just a remarkable human being. In all fairness, his health had been waning for a long time, and his looming death seemed somewhat morbidly inevitable, but it wasn't any less devastating when it happened. And the death of Carrie Fisher was an absolute, even though I never met her, kick in the nuts. I mean, I think that broke everybody's heart. Who didn't want to see her continue on in the Star Wars movies? She was making this big, vibrant resurgence as an actress again. And, I mean, just absolutely heartbreaking, right? But, you know, with death comes life. And the bottom line is, just because a bunch of people died doesn't mean the whole world went to shit. Even though the election of Trump as president might make you think we're all fucking doomed. But let's all just hope that 2017 is fun. So, of course, there's a lot of great things to look forward to in 2017, and man, was that tough to say. We got Iron Fist coming out of Netflix. I don't think Defenders is going to be quite ready yet. As of today, the 4 CW superhero shows have all been renewed. And it turns out that Constantine's going to get revived on the CW seed as a cartoon. So maybe, just maybe, we'll find out how he survived that gunshot wound to the gut. Here's hoping. Of course, it will be kind of weird because of CW seed. We don't get that in Canada. And they are these funky little 5-minute shorts. So, you know, it's not what most people wanted, but still it's cool. We've got the Marvel movies, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. We've got Black Panther and Thor Ragnarok. I think maybe Thor Ragnarok's 2017, right? I'm really looking forward to that, my gosh. We got Doctor Strange. We got the Hulk, you know, Planet Hulk and Thor. Oh, man, I can't wait for that stuff. And, of course, a whole ding-dang year more of DC Rebirth and whatever the hell Marvel's going to do in their weird comic universe. I'm sure it's going to be great. As always, a giant thanks to you for watching. A massive thanks to whoever's house this is we're filming at right now. And maybe we'll see you next time, eh?